All right. Good afternoon, disco friends and family, and thank you so much for being with us here for another edition of All Access Pass. I'm your cruise host, Jason, and as I was just telling the live audience, it is my broken record because I get to come up here every day and say the same phrase, another day, another absolute legend. For my live studio audience, Robert Kool Bell is here with me.
Thank you very much. Now, Jason, is this the party crowd?
This is the party crowd,
The
yeah.
last time we was on this ship, they partied.
Yeah,
In fact, they didn't want us to leave.
Listen, over $200,000 in alcohol on day one.
Oh, sounds good to me.
Yeah, that's a party crowd. That's a party crowd. Yeah, over $200,000 in alcohol in one day. And they don't even look it. They're drunk now though, but look at them. They're just hammered. But the Corona's up front. I like it. We're not moving, but all of them think the ship is still rocking. That's how it goes.
Okay.
Thank you for getting on board today. Thank you for being with us. How was the journey down to Cozumel?
Well, the other night we played at the Borgata in Atlantic City.
Atlantic City.
The week before that, we were in Vegas.
Vegas?
We're doing a residency there, so we've been pretty busy.
You have residency in Vegas right now.
Yeah, Westgate. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that. Where are you playing? Where is it? Are you?
Well, that's the home of Elvis Presley.
Well, of course.
And Barry Manilow.
I think it's the home of Kool the Gang now.
Now we got to do our thing.
Yeah.
It's great. It's looking pretty good.
When did you start it? When did it begin?
Well, we did about 8 shows now.
8 shows?
Actually started on my birthday.
Oh.
Last year.
35 years young.
Yeah. And having fun, too. What about that? But yeah, so it should be kicking in. We're going back in May.
Going back in May to Vegas?
And back in October. And then going to 2024. That's what the Super Bowl is going to be, too. You know that, right? In Vegas.
So you're gunning for that Super Bowl halftime show in Vegas is what you're gunning for.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Why not?
Why not? I'm with that. Why not?
Whoever's going to win, they can celebrate good times. Come on.
Yeah. I love that. That would be a killer halftime show. I would love to see you guys at the halftime show.
We're working on it.
That would be a ton of fun. Well, let's go back a few years because I know we have a lot of Kool the Gang fans out there. But would you be so kind as to tell us a little bit about the beginning? How did you and your brother come up with the concept, and how did Kool the Gang come to be some years ago?
Well, Kool the Gang started back in 1964, but at that time we were the Jazzy-Acts. And I love jazz. And then it was changed to the Soul Town Band. In Jersey City, you had a movement called the Soul Town Review. And they was trying to be like Motown Review. So we would have to learn these Motown songs, about twice a month. And then we moved on. Then we changed the name to Kool and the Flames. Another problem. Because you had James Brown. And the famous Flames.
Nobody wants that problem.
So we didn't want to have any problem with the Godfather. So we said, well, what should we call ourselves? Well, it's Kool the Gang. It was a mix of jazz, funk, pop. And the first record came out, came out in 1969. It wasn't the summertime. Kool the Gang. Album, Kool the Gang. Single, Kool the Gang. And now we're in the 70s, and we worked our way through the 70s.
And how did you become Kool? How did you become Robert Kool Bell? Where'd you get the nickname?
The short version? Okay. Country boy coming to Jersey. Everyone had a nickname. I was trying to fit in. So there was this guy, he called himself Kool, and he spelled it with a C. I said, you know what? I'm going to take that name and spell it with a K. Not knowing that one day it was going to be a Kool the Gang. And that's how it started back then.
I think we're all grateful for it.
Oh, yeah.
You guys you dabbled in a lot of different sounds in the beginning. Like you kind of mentioned, you had jazz, you had funk, you had pop, you had disco. You had a lot of different influences and different styles in the beginning. What helped you form the sound that everybody knows as Kool the Gang? What brought you to that point of what you guys became?
Well, as we were developing and growing, of course, in the early 70s, we had songs like Funky Granny, even Raw Hamburgers, Chocolate Buttermilk. I don't know if you remember none of those songs back then. And then we went on to create funky stuff, Hollywood swinging, and jungle boogie. Now, the record company said, well, you guys haven't come up in your hits lately. You're territorial, like Connecticut or Philadelphia area. And Philly in the house. So that's when we, it was a song called Soul Makusa by Mongo de Bongo. And the producer, the record company wanted us to work with the producer. We met with him one time, and we weren't feeling him. So we went to a rehearsal studio, like 8 o'clock in the morning. And when we finished, we had created Hollywood Swingin', Jungle Boogie, and Funky Style. So no more problems from the record company after that.
Yeah, shocking, yeah.
Because we went on, we did Summer Madness, Open Sesame, Saturday Night Fever, one of the biggest albums before Michael Jackson came up with Thriller and knocked us out of the box. So that's part of the story.
You guys had a lot of different levels of success in your time. And what I find interesting, I was kind of mentioning before you came out, is music means something different to everybody. Every song has a different interpretation for everybody. But it doesn't mean that they enjoy it any less, regardless of their interpretation of it. You guys didn't have that initial monster commercial success. That took a little bit of time.
Right.
And then when you hit real big when it all went, into the stratosphere. At any point in the early career, was there a chance of you guys breaking up? Or did you guys know you were destined for it and you were going to push for it no matter what?
Well, our parents always told us to stick together. Upon the original 7 members of Kool the Gang. Of course, when J.T. Taylor joined the group, we went on to have the success in the 80s, with Ladies' Night and Cherish and Fresh and Celebration and all the other songs we did in the 80s. Now, at that time, when J.T. left, they felt, well, what are they going to do now? So we're going to keep moving the group until we started working around the world. We worked in Africa, we worked in the Middle East, we worked Australia, worked with a couple Australian rock bands, and we kept moving.
Was there a destination that you went that you guys fell in love with? Like, was there a location, whether it's state or country or even stadium, that you just fell in love with?
Personally, I like the Mediterranean.
Mediterranean.
Yeah, Monte Carlo, Saint-Tropez.
This sounds very personal. This doesn't even sound music at this point, does it? Yeah.
But some of the things that happened, like, for instance, we did 48 shows with Van Halen.
That's a great combination, by the way. I love when you tell that story.
And people were saying, Kool the Gang and Van Halen. And so David Leavoff was in London. He said, yeah, I just saw them on the BBC and just rock audience, They had U2 on there, Coldplay, et cetera, et cetera. She said, now, if you want me to come back, I'm bringing Kool and the Gang as my support act, not as my opening act, as my support act. And then he went to tell me, 60% of my audience are ladies or women. He said, you guys had Celebration, we had Jump. He said, and back in the day, we used to play some of your songs, Funky Stuff, Jungle Boogie. I didn't know they did that. And then he said, so let's go out and have a party. And that's what we did for 48 shows. Kid Rock saw us and said, wait a minute, man. Can I get you? I want to do 20 shows with you. I said, kid, we only going to do 10 because we had an obligation in Europe. So we did 10 shows with, with him, and it just kept moving and moving.
And that's exactly what I was saying a moment ago in terms of music being universal. Like, we don't necessarily think, I don't necessarily think off the top of my head, oh, Kool and the Gang and Kid Rock, perfect combination. Like, that's not a headline to a show that I would initially think up, or Van Halen and Kool and the Gang. But it just goes to show how great music is great music. And you guys are just, you've had so many monster hits, and you've had so much beyond commercial success, just success in general, that's a huge testament that these rock artists want to bring you out and want to perform with you because you appeal to so many walks of life. That's very, very cool, and I'm sure you appreciate that.
Thank you very much. You know what, Jason? Also, Elton John, Rod Stewart, Dave Matthews Band, Def Leppard, all of, you wouldn't think that these groups are interested in what we do.
But that's you.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah. Do you have an artist in history that you wish you could have toured with? Is there anybody you think back and like, oh, God, living or dead, even if it was before your time, like anybody that you think would have been fun?
I think the Rolling Stones.
The Rolling Stones?
I mean, we did Kid Rock and all those other guys.
Yeah. The Stones, I think they're still touring. What are they, 112? They're still,
wow.
If Keith Richards is alive, by the way, none of us have an excuse. That's just...
Well, you know, next year we're celebrating 60 years.
Yeah.
Our first, the group, when we changed the group to Jazzy Act, that was in 1964. So
60 years.
I said the same thing to myself. 60 years. Wow.
Good Lord.
Up and down them highways and roads, but you know we've been blessed.
At some point, I would love it if because you'll be back obviously with us, and you know, so Kool has done multiple cruises with us, not just disco. He's done our Soul Train cruise and some of the other cruises as well. And at some point, I would love for your management to put together how many shows you've done in 60 years. Oh. I mean, I'm not asking you to come up with a number, but that would be a pretty cool thing because you guys toured a lot. You guys did a lot of dates.
Many shows, yeah.
What's your ideal number of dates in a year now? In a perfect year, how many dates does Kool and the Gang do?
Over 100.
Over 100. You still want to do over 100 dates?
I don't know about that right now. But, you know.
I'm talking now.
No, my guys, they want to work. I got a couple of them out in the audience right now. They said, yeah, got some more dates, Kool?
Yeah. Robert, come on, man. Come on. Get us more dates.
But you got to realize that we didn't work for 2 years during COVID. You know, so.
How, and it's kind of a generic question, but I have to ask it. During the COVID times, what did you do to stay busy? Since you weren't able to get on stage and do what you love, what did you do to stay busy?
Well, we were doing a lot of Zooming. We were talking,
the Zoom stuff.
To various podcasts and et cetera, et cetera. If we're ready to go into this, I was also pushing my Le Kool champagne.
Yeah. I mean, we might as well. Yeah. Do you want to do it right now? Let's do it right now. So tell us a little bit. Look at that, right in the front. Let's talk a little bit about this. We're going to have two guests join us on the stage on and off. So come right to the front, Mom. Front, or that way. Either way, it's easier to go in front, yeah. You have this champagne. Come on up. No, you're in the shot now. Get up. You got to get your own chair. Nice try. You thought you could just get out of this. Tell us a little about, we got camera dead center so folks out there can see it. Hold up either one. Let's talk about it. So let's talk about Le Kool.
On tour about 7 years ago, the promoter came up to me and we had sold out about 20 shows in France. He said, well, would you like to sell some bottles of champagne at your concert? I said, well, no way, because my fans, they want T-shirts and caps. I said, I want to get on the shelves. And he looked at me, you want to get on the shelves? I said, yeah, like Dom Perignon, Cristal, Dom Bernard, Veuve Clicquot. And so I came up with a name called Le Kool Champagne. I wanted to have that French vibe to it. And
the French vibe, Le Kool.
we cut the deal up in Ypres, up in Reims, Champagne country. And that's what I was doing during the COVID time. Yeah.
Introduce your business partner to everyone here in the room.
Okay, this is Mohamed Moretta, my partner from France. You can tell them a little bit about the first lady coming out.
Mohamed, tell us a little bit about tell us a little about Le Kool and what we're looking at here.
Well, before beginning, I have to acknowledge someone that's with us here in spirit. Her name is Sakina Bell, and that's Kool's late wife. She's here with us. She always knew that Kool was special. I think he's the coolest man in the world, by the way.
No pun intended.
Everything he touches turns to cool. But she created a concept called Just Kool, and that's to uplift his name and likeness. So when we say the longest touring band in the history of music, but let's make this clear, this guy is very humble about it. He's never missed a show in 58 years. He was by Sakina before she passed, so he's sitting on several Guinness Book of World Records.
Well, I missed the show. I wouldn't get no dough. Come on, man.
Can't get paid if you don't show up for the gig.
So with that in mind, Sakina always saw different ancillary products. And when my manager, who became my wife, met Sakina, she said, listen, Sakina, I don't understand. Celebrate good times. That was a Coca-Cola campaign. Yeah. She said, I never lifted a glass to celebrate with Coca-Cola ever. You need your own champagne. And Kool, like he said, Olfa, I've always wanted my own champagne to come from France. I want to call it Le Kool. It started off as that conversation, and Kool helped us go to the next level. So, whether you celebrate with any other champagne, we won't mention the names.
We won't mention the names.
Chances are you're going to play Celebration in the background. So we figured, why not connect that experience with the Celebration champagne? So we are Le Kool, the Celebration champagne, but here's another piece that's very important, and he's humble. In the, let's say, centuries that they've been doing that in Champagne, because in order for it to be real champagne, it has to come from Reims, that area. They only put names of what are called patronyms on the front of the bottles, meaning families that have been doing that for centuries. This is the first time in the history of Champagne, if you look closely, it's Champagne Robert Courbel. His name is on the front of the bottle because he deserves to be on the front. And this first lady now will change the narrative. So usually it's the guy that makes the decision, you know, fat guy, big wallet.
Well,
Yeah?
you're going to have,
to get
a
bees
little
with
tasting
honey,
sometime tomorrow.
yeah, to get bees with honey, they'll order other champagnes and the ladies will come along and drink. Now, ladies, it's ladies' night. You have the opportunity to say, oh, you want to impress me? I'm a first lady. Get me my first lady. And by the way, when you touch her body, it's like touching the scales of a fish. And the mermaid is here to protect us on the ocean, so it makes sense to be here tonight.
It does.
And it's from France, Le Kool Champagne, available at lecoolchampagne.com if you want to know more.
Can I see that
Okay.
one?
And we have a Blanc de Blanc, of course, those who might know, and a Grand Cru. And again, Mr. Humble here. Out of the hundreds of villages, 300 plus, that make champagne in France, there's only 17 that allow you to put Grand Cru on the bottle. Not only does he have a Grand Cru, but he has his own plot of land in Champagne country, where the grapes from that land go only into Mr. Bell's bottles.
Okay.
That's our story. I'm
I
sticking
love
to it.
that.
That's the
I
story.
That's it.
That's the Blanc de
It's a
Blanc.
long way from a country boy from Youngstown,
A
Ohio.
long way for a country boy.
Come on
yeah.
and get up into the cartel. French cartel.
Yeah. Now you got a plot of land in France, or in Champagne to be specific.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, Mohammed. Yeah, please.
I'm going to keep it moving. Thank you,
Yeah,
Jason.
thank you. Let's hear from Mohammed. Thanks for sharing, brother.
All right. Now we have a new single. Just came out a couple weeks ago.
Say that again. You have a new single.
Single.
Yeah,
The album's coming
some
out.
new music coming out. Some new music.
New music, yeah. It's called Let's Party. We have a video out now called Let's Party. And the album will be coming out in April. And it says the people just want to have fun. After all we went through, it's good to have a little bit of fun.
And I think, Sean, are you still back there? I can't quite see in the lights.
Yeah,
But
he's
yeah,
out
your
here.
lead singer. Let's get your lead singer up here. How long has this man been with you?
Over 25 years.
25 years.
Johnny Mac.
Come on up, sir.
Wait a minute. 1, 2.
Yeah, you're good.
Wait a minute. He cut me off a couple years. I got about 27 going on 28 years.
Oh,
How about
oh,
that?
I want my
We
2
put the
years.
3-0 then.
Do us a favor, Cool. Introduce this man to these people. What should they know about the man sitting on your left?
Well, he's
Wait
been
a minute.
on.
Let me turn my chair.
Yeah, turn your chair.
He's been on the road with us for almost 30 years.
How'd you find him?
Actually, it was in Singapore.
Singapore.
Yeah, he was playing with a band. Tell him the story real quick.
It was in Singapore. I was in a cover band from Buffalo, New York, and we were the opening act for Kool The Gang. And we did our show, and I guess I did something pretty good. And when I came off the stage, their manager met me at the bottom of the steps and said, hey, here's my card. If you get a chance, this is the hotel I'm staying at. Why don't you come over tomorrow? I'd like to talk to you.
And you, at a dead sprint, went to that hotel.
I did.
Smartly.
But I'm going to keep this short, but it's an amazing story because when I went to the hotel and we started talking, and he said, well, make a long story short. He said, the guys were checking you out last night, and they would like to give you a shot. And I'm like, wow, I would love the opportunity to play guitar with Charles. You know, he said, no, that's not what we got in mind. We want you to sing lead. And I said, well, sing lead for who?
Where?
And he said, for Kool The Gang. I said, you want me to sing? I said, I can't see that. And the manager said to me, his name is Adele Ban, may he rest in peace. classic line he said to me. He said, "Well, I'm in the business of seeing things other people can't see."
Great line.
I thought that was amazing. I've never heard that
line.
before. And here we are 27 years later.
37 years
28.
later. 42 years later, here we are.
That's how it started.
And do you ever look back and think, man, I wish I just would have stayed with that cover band?
Not at all.
So either of you, Sean, Robert, tell us about the new music. Tell us about the new album, the new project.
Well, you want to
Oh, it's great. We recorded it out in Los Angeles. George Funky Brown, original drummer for Kool the Gang, he produced and wrote a lot of the music. We recorded it right at his home. He has a studio right there.
Cool.
So we're hoping to release the album, I think, mid-April is what we're doing now. We have the single out right now called Let's Party. You can see, it's on all streaming sites. Have the video. You can upload it on YouTube. It's nice, very nice.
And for you personally, I'm gonna skip by it. Or we got a new contestant up here, Robert. For you personally, does it still resonate with you after 20 some odd years, almost 30 years, when you walk up on stage and it's, ladies and gentlemen, please Kool in the Gang? Does that still hit you like a truck?
Absolutely, absolutely. It blows my mind. 28 years in, and there's been time he's called me on my home number, and I see his name pop up on the caller ID, and that still blows my mind. I'm looking at Robert Kool Bell. I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool.
I'm going to give you an opportunity, sir. Tell us something about Robert Kool Bell that you think folks should know.
Something about Robert Kool Bell.
Or just something that you love. It could be something simple. It could be something. What does he mean to you?
Man, I ain't trying to cry up here, man.
It's my job.
Tell
me what he means. Come on. Yeah.
No, he's great heart, wants the best for everybody, good friend, great musician, great businessman, great mind. Love being around him. No.
Now you're going to make Robert cry.
Well, one thing about Sean, when he joined the band, he played guitar and sing. It was not just a lead singer.
Yeah.
It was the lead singer and a musician.
Yeah.
And everything became Kool the Gang because we had a band. We could sing, we can play. We did whatever we needed to do.
Sure.
And that's what he brought to the table.
Thank you. And it's been great. We've been doing the disco cruise for some years now.
Since the beginning, yeah.
So I think our last time here was right before the pandemic.
It was.
We stayed on board. I think we did 2 extra shows.
Yep.
And as soon as we got off the ship and we got home, everything shut down the next day.
Life pretty much, slowed down to a stop.
So here we are. We're back.
Exactly.
Oh, baby, we ready.
Right.
We're going to have a great time tomorrow night.
Absolutely.
That's actually, but before we let you jump off stage, Sean, what can guests expect to see from you guys in your show? And I'll ask Robert that in a second, but from your opinion, what is the Kool the Gang show? What should people come in looking
Our
for?
show, we have a fun show. We want you to come out and have a good It's fun. It's not serious like that. We want you to be able to unwind and be a part of it. We're going to deliver some great music, great vocals. It's just a great time. It's just a great time.
vocals, says the lead singer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a shocker, isn't it? That's and out of the entire catalog of music, which obviously is it's so many songs and hits. I know this is an unfair question, but what's your favorite to perform? Your favorite to sing?
That's easy. Ladies' Night.
Ladies' Night.
Oh yeah, that's the one there.
Yeah, there it is. First lady.
The ladies love the rose.
Absolutely.
Hey, hey, hey.
Absolutely, Ladies' Night.
Why? For the obvious reasons?
Oh, for the obvious reason. Come on now. There's a ladies' night everywhere on the weekend.
Is.
On the weekend, every club, there's going to be a ladies' night.
I love that. And I'll ask the same question of you that I asked of Robert before we let you go. Where in the world do you enjoy playing the most?
Oh, that's
Other than the disco cruise, obviously. This is an exception, but
That's a hard one. We've been all over the world. I mean, I pretty much have enjoyed every place that I've gone.
is there a place, though, that you see pop up on the itinerary and you're like, oh, yes, we're going back to
Japan.
Japan?
Yeah, Japan.
Yes.
Japan.
Like Japan.
A lot of artists say Japan. A lot of artists say Japan. Is it the intensity of the fandom, for lack of better terms? Is it the warmth of the people? What is it about Japan that makes so many artists love it?
A combination of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Most artists will say that they get there and there's, and I don't mean this rudely, don't take it the wrong way, very limited to no English. But then the minute you start singing every single word, crystal clear from the crowd, they know English dead on because they know your songs.
That is so true.
They are sincere followers, you know.
Yeah.
We get that around the world, but definitely
Absolutely.
in Japan, yeah.
We had, I don't know if you guys remember, and Robert, I think it was just you and I on stage last time doing an interview when you performed and I was talking to you and I had Filipino crew. There's a lot of different crew members, a lot of different nationalities on board, obviously. And there's a good chunk of crew members from the Philippines. And I had a handful of Filipino crew members that I was talking to that said, and I'm not making this up, so don't take this derogatorily or any other way, they learned English by singing Kool and the Gang on karaoke. They said that flat out. Yeah, they said they learned English originally by singing karaoke, and Kool and the Gang, those songs are some of their favorites. And it's true. This young lady agrees.
You
That's
have
true.
a lot of karaoke clubs in Japan, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's kind of an I made it moment when you are teaching people English through your songs on karaoke. Absolutely. That's a damn it we're here type of thing. That's phenomenal. Sean, thank you for joining us, man. I really appreciate it. Anything you want to share with everybody before you go?
No, just come out tomorrow night, have a good time with us.
All right.
We'll see you there.
And I want to
Thank you so much.
the fans
Thank
for
you,
you
bro.
guys supporting us for so many years. Like I said, next year it's going to be over 60. Now, I don't know if I'm going to have some Geritol or cane, but thank you very much.
Yeah, that's amazing that you got so many years. That really is. As you know, I opened it up to the audience. We got time for a couple audience questions, if you'd be so kind. Mark from Florida says, at the very beginning, who was your biggest influence? Yours.
Well, I would say I like what Stevie Wonder was doing.
Stevie.
Marvin Gaye. The Temptations, man. I would say, man, well, I would make it to the Apollo Theater and go see the Temptations.
The Temps.
Yeah, the Temps, yeah. There was a few.
And he followed.
Oh, James Brown, too. Now.
Well, obviously, you didn't want to. You have to say that because you don't want a problem.
Yeah.
And number two, he follows up with, is there anyone now that a current performer, a current artist that you admire, that you like?
I kind of like Bruno Mars.
Bruno Mars.
Yeah, because he's like a young Kool in the Gang.
He is. He's a throwback.
Horns, he got the steps, he got the move, he got the groove. Yeah.
You're going to break
down.
down.
Bruno Mars.
You're going to drop those dance moves on him tomorrow night, right? That's the Bruno Mars dance moves. You still got that.
We got a couple steps.
Notice he said we have
that's Johnny
steps.
Mac. He's the front man.
Yeah.
But, you know, I put a little oil on these things and get it together.
Nellie wants to know, kind of question I just asked Sean, which of your songs is the most special for you? Do you have one that's special for you?
Well, there's a couple. I
know.
You look at Summer Madness. Yeah. You know, Will Smith sampled it.
Yeah.
All the various artists have sampled Summer Madness, and they thought that that was the jazz group. It was we had Spirit of the Boogie in Chicago, and on the B side with Summer Madness, the DJ flipped the record and he played it. He said, "Now who is this?" "Oh, that's Herbie Hancock." And they came with all the. He said, "No, this is Kool in the Gang." So that's the one. Of course, celebration is ultimate.
A celebration, obviously. For Summer Madness, and actually, funny enough, the next question in my list here, Joe from Montreal. There's Joe. What was your inspiration for Summer Madness, and will you play it in the show tomorrow? I have a feeling it'll be in the show, Joe. What was your inspiration for Summer Madness? Who came up with it?
Well, actually, that was my brother, who, I lost over a year after.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
There was a song called "You Don't Have to Change" by the late Spike Mickens. So my brother was in the studio one night, and the vamp of "You Don't Have to Change," he said, "That's another song." So he had got this ARP synthesizer, and he was in there, and he started playing the melody over the vamp. And that next day, he said, "That's great." He said, "What are we going to call it?" "Oh, call it Summer Madness." And that's how it started.
It's amazing how easy it is. So, it seems so easy from the outside, right? It's just something so simple, and then it becomes
Well, we
legendary.
came up with crazy names, Like
Yeah, of course. Well, you had
raw
chocolate
hamburger,
hamburgers.
chocolate buttermilk, funky man, funky granny.
My personal
Indeed.
favorite, Funky Granny. Yeah. Alan, who is all the way from Oxnard, says, your songs have been used in many movies. Have you ever turned down a request or been shocked by a movie or TV show that wanted to use your music?
Well, I wouldn't know if they brought something to us and the record company or someone turned it down. But I would say Open Sesame because of the whole thing with John Travolta and Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah, that was monster.
Yeah.
Teresa from Missouri, a request for the show. Do you play Stone Love or Emergency? Awesome songs.
That's it.
Digging in the bag a little bit.
Yeah. Well, when you only got 60 to 90 minutes, when you have so many songs, you have to,
It's a very good problem to have, by the way, yeah.
I mean, people come up and say, well, you going to play Heidi Hi, Heidi Ho? I said, well, how does it go?
Sing it for me.
I mean, it's so many, man, well.
You have such a monster catalog. It's so hard. So wait and see. I guess that's the answer. Frans from the Netherlands says, the song I Wanna Dance, a collaboration with Nile Rodgers of Chic, is that on an album? And how did that come about?
Well, that was my brother again, and Nile Rodgers. I'm not sure if he put it on his album or not, but we did put it out together, I Wanna Dance,
How did that come about, that relationship with Nile?
Well, Nile's my trumpet player, Spike Mickens, was Nile's first cousin. So we were like family anyway. So, and he'll tell a
Small
story.
world, isn't it? Yeah.
He'll tell you a story about Hollywood Swinging. He said that's how he wrote Good Times. He was listening to Hollywood Swinging. But it's all good, it's all family.
Indy from Miami, Pursuit of Happiness is so timely and brought us lots of hope during the pandemic. Do you ever perform it live?
Well, we did once. We did the Macy's Day Parade in Philadelphia. Again, that song was written by my brother before he passed. And what had happened, they had on Celebration, he's also one of the key writers for Celebration. So when President Biden received his nomination, he played Celebration. Of course, when he won, he played Celebration. But in his speech, he spoke about pursuit of happiness and perfect union. And that's inspired my brother to write the Pursuit of Happiness, Hold on the Perfect Union album.
That's fantastic. Indy, you're right front, right? Yeah, Indy's right in front. She brought her own bottle. I can speak English, I swear to you. I learned it on karaoke. I bought and brought my very own Le Cool. Will you come say hello and toast with us after? Indy will get to you in a moment. Let us finish up. I'm sure we'll come down and say hi.
Where'd
to
you buy it, on the ship?
No, yeah, I wish we carried it on the ship. Where'd you get it?
On that cruise where the world went to hell.
Yeah, you were on that last one. Yeah.
When I got off the ship, I bought it, and I said I want to drink it when I got to see you live.
Oh, that's great. She bought it when she got off the
great.
ship and said she wanted to toast and drink, have a sip with you
that's
when she
great.
saw you next. And here we are, seeing you next. Joe from New York. This is an interesting question. In your experience, having been in the industry as long as you have, a lot of artists in the music industry have peaks and troughs, peaks and valleys to their career. What is the experience, or what do you say to artists that are not getting the publicity that they once did, that are now on what some would consider the downhill side of their career? Because you guys haven't really had, outside of some early years, you guys have maintained a certain level of fame and worldwide recognition, but a lot of artists don't. What do those artists go through later in the career?
Well, I would say that they have to work hard at what they're doing, and if they're really sincere, not to give up. Also, we had some hills and valleys, And sometimes, I remember one time, right before Ladies Night, in my neighborhood, they said, are you guys still working? Yeah. We have something new coming out next year, but that happens. But also, good lawyer, good publisher, understand the business.
Good team.
Pay your taxes. Pay your taxes. They'll come after you.
That's bit some people. That's bit a few stars in the rear end.
Yeah.
Carlos, also from Miami. Hi, Kool. What is your memory of Live Aid?
Okay.
Great
well,
question.
It actually started with us in Ethiopia. And then Feed the Family, those Christmas times. We started with that first. And then after that came Live Aid and a lot of the other ones. There's a lot of artists. Matter of fact, who else was on that? A lot of artists was on that.
Everybody.
Feed the World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Muhammad wants to know, yeah.
I think Kool the Gang was the only U.S. band.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were.
You were
Yeah.
the only U.S. band
Right.
on that. What was that
Yeah.
experience? Talk about that experience a little bit.
Oh, it was great. I mean, we were touring in London, and Bob Geldof came up with he was the producer of the song, and the record company said, for Ethiopia tomorrow morning. What time? Yeah, about 5 in the morning. So we said, we'll be there. And it was great to see all the artists that came together on that track. It became such a big track.
Monster.
Band-Aid, that's what it's called, Band-Aid.
Yeah. Harris from Riverside, California. Do you know off the top of your head how many gold platinum albums and or songs Kool and the Gang has in total?
I don't know.
They
say over 70 million, over 80 million.
Yeah.
So many platinum albums, and a lot of gold albums,
That's a double testament to the humble nature of this man. First of all, you know you're successful when you've lost track of your platinum albums. I don't know, you got a few, 80 million, 100 million.
Well,
And it's
here's
also-
another one for you.
Well, and also I want to say this about you, and Sean said it a moment ago, but I want to reiterate because I don't work in your band, so I'm not, Sean's nervous to get fired, but I'll say it too, is you are the epitome of talent and humble combined. You have never once been, and I'm going to use a horrible phrase, and I don't mean it this way, but a diva or a devo, as they call them. You've never come into our being Star Vista Live's cruises. You've never come in with an attitude. You've never come in with a million demands. You've never come in with a we must have and we have to and you can't do and you must have and we do. They're called riders. Artists send you riders. And on the rider, that's where you hear the jokes about like green gummy bears and only blue carpet in the back room, and that's true. Those are real stories you hear often. This man, along with his group, never once, just nothing but humble and grateful and gracious, and we expect that from artists that we reach out to often. We never expect it from the legends because we are prepared to grant you whatever you want and need. So whenever we receive that treatment back from folks like yourself, please understand and know our love back to you and how gracious and grateful we are to you for your graciousness and humble nature towards us and your fans.
Well,
So,
thank you.
Thank you.
That's what I mean by sincere fans.
Yeah.
We call them, you might want to call them in the 70s gang heads.
Yeah.
Give me that funky stuff. Yeah, come on.
Last question. Jan from Columbia, South Carolina. She's had a couple questions. We like Jan. She's got good questions. She has 7 questions, so line up here. No, there's only 3. Number 1, on Jungle Boogie, who came up with the deep-voiced background sounds, and how did you come up with it in general? I love that song.
Well, that was his name was Donald Boyce. He worked with the crew, and we were doing the song. He said he had that deep voice. I got something for this. He got on the track. He said, Jungle Boogie, ha. What? Okay, let's print it. we didn't know that was. He's like famous himself for the Jungle Boogie raps. Yeah.
And how did Jungle Boogie come to be as a song? How'd you guys come up with that?
Just like we always do with some crazy name. One time it was going to be called Jungle Jim. He said, that ain't working, man. It sounds more like a Jungle Boogie. Asked the Muppets, they recorded it.
Yeah, I know.
They did a good job, too.
Yeah, phenomenal job, actually. I mean, not like the original, but when you are not touring and or performing, personal question, and you're just chilling at home, what do you like to do? When you're not singing, what do you like to do?
Well,
or performing?
I'm not pushing my cool champagne, too.
When you're not working.
I like to, I walk a lot. I like to get into the gym. We have a place in Orlando. We call it the OTC, and that's the Old Town Condo. And we all around the same age, walking around, people walking their dogs and whatnot. And I'll be 73 this year, so that kind of cools me out. Yeah.
So basically, he lives in the villages. So anybody? No, I'm joking.
Oh, not there.
Some people don't know what the villages are. It's better that way.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah, I know you do.
I know now.
Avoid that. You don't want to go there. That's God's waiting room. Last question. Do you have kids and or grandkids, Mr. Bell?
Yeah, I have 2 sons. One of my sons is a DJ. He goes by the name of DJ Hakeem. Sometimes he come out and rap on Jungle Boogie or Celebration. And my other son, he's a longshoreman. I guess he's making a long money. I don't know. But then I have 2 grandchildren.
2 grandkids.
I have a granddaughter.
Oh.
And I have a grandson.
All right, here's the important question.
Dad.
With your grandchildren, what do they call you?
Papa.
Your papa. Okay. Pop or papa?
No, Papa.
Papa. Okay.
She already called me. We play in London this summer. Papa. I said, what? You playing with Lionel Richie coming up there. I said, we are? She said, yeah, Papa, me and my girlfriend, we want to go. She came, we were playing in Paris. She said, I want to go to Paris. But when she was growing up, she didn't really know who I was. I was just Papa.
Sure.
Oh, it's Papa.
Yeah.
But now she's saying, wow, you're going to let me look out to see what other spots you're going to.
Now Papa's the ticket to travel in the world is what it is. Yeah. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Cool. I can't thank you enough for your time, as always. You're always so generous with your time and so gracious, and we really do truly appreciate you. Thank you very much for participating in our little Q&A. And for all the folks in this live studio audience you're watching on TV, one more time, let's hear it for Robert Kool Bell.
All right. And one more thing.
One more thing.
Are you ready to party tomorrow?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, we come to party. We come to bring the party. Thank you.
Celebrate the culture, food, and sounds of New Orleans on the 2023 Big Easy Cruise. This festival at sea will feature live performances by Little Feat, Galactic, featuring Angelica Jelly Joseph, Tab Benoit, Irma Thomas, Samantha Fish, Dirty Dozen Brass Band, Leo Nocentelli, Anders Osborne, John Cleary, Tuba Skinny, and many more. Let the good times roll for 7 days on the luxurious Holland America Line, New Amsterdam. Sailing November 4th to the 11th, 2023 from Fort Lauderdale with a 24-hour stay in New Orleans and a stop in beautiful Cozumel. Enjoy the very best of New Orleans and see all your favorite artists in world-class comfort. Book your cabin now. Prices start at $19.49 per person. Financing options are available. More info at BigEasyCruise.com.